Officials with Anishinabek Employment and Training Services are slamming the Thunder Bay Public Library after the organization was recently evicted from 2 library branches. AETS insists the library didn't engage in good faith lease renewal discussions, but library leadership says they simply can't give up the space any longer after their plan for a centralized intercity mall location fell through. Jessica Clement has the details.
In my view, this is a very, very missed opportunity for reconciliation with Indigenous people by both the library and the city.
Anishinabek Employment and Training Services Board Director Sharon Osberg says while the Thunder Bay Public Library may not have broken a lease, it's broken a partnership that's been in place since 2018 when our organization was informed back in November that it was being evicted from the Waverly and Brodie Street branches.
And then all of a sudden we get a notification that you have to leave within the 3 months. We were able to negotiate a longer term because this was, considering in the middle of the winter, was totally unexpected. We had thought that maybe working with the city and where the city is with its reconciliation, which is now I can honestly say it's nowhere because they didn't even assist us.
Library CEO Richard Togman explains they're just following their lease agreement. He says back in 2021, AETS had a right to renew the lease for up to 8 years, but they chose not to. However, AETS officials claim that agreement wasn't reasonable. Togman notes the library board realized they needed to grow, and after City Council shot down their intercity location idea, they needed to look internally.
ATS knew what they were committing to as tenants, that it was a temporary period. Part of what the Ontario legislation that governs libraries says that if we determine that we have excess space, then we're allowed to lease it out to other organizations. I think there was a reevaluation of that need. We determined that we didn't have excess space, that we really needed every square inch of library that we could get to fulfill our core mandate of delivering library services to the community. And so that's how we had to proceed.
Osberg estimates they've invested over $1 million in renovations for both branches and would like to see some of that money back. However, Togman says in all 3 iterations of the lease agreements, it stated any building improvements would belong to the library.
We went to what we called a library board meeting and a AETS board executive meeting, and we go out 5 minutes. They read out of a piece of paper. There's no number. The number is 0. You're not getting anything back.
No remuneration would be considered at that time. Those were terms that were explicitly agreed to in writing by ATS multiple times, at least 3 times to my knowledge.
AETS has now moved to Matawa's headquarters on Algoma Street, as well as Goods & Co. However, they currently don't have a space for those on the south side. Osberg expresses her disappointment in the city and library, but says they will continue moving forward. Jessica Clement, TBT News.